It's New Brew Thursday! Woo! And we're here with
Dan Del Grande.
And for some reason, I totally forgot his name just now. I've slept in the same hotel with you, and I just totally forgot your name.
So I wasn't sure what
yeah,
you were going to lead with.
He was about to say Brad's awesome house.
Well, yeah, we are in New Brew Thursday Studio B, located, well... We are not going to tell you where it's located.
Let's not disclose that.
Yes, because we know that you're stalking us.
bunker.
You, stalker boy, right there. I see you in my bushes.
Put down that
at
paper
night.
pen.
Exactly. So, but we're here with Dan Del Grande, who is the owner, proprietor, operator, brewer, madcap bottler of Bison Brew, one of the newest, or Bison Brewing.
Bison Brewing Company, yeah.
Okay.
Out of Berkeley.
You're a very up-and-coming brewery up there, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's actually been around quite a while. 1989 is when it opened.
I was going to say,
yeah.
for quite a while.
But until 2003, it was a brew pub. And we just did our thing there in Berkeley and brewed a little bit of beer and sold it across the bar. But the place was not a very good location, and I ended up closing that down and just focusing on bottling beer. So
Which we appreciate, because now we can get it.
Now you can get it.
Yeah.
The San Francisco, Berkeley, East Bay, that whole beer community is extremely tight up there. And so is that helpful to an up-and-coming brewer, or is it?
Yeah, I think so. We can always, I've done it for other people, and people have done it for me. You get to call someone up and say, hey, I got some questions about distribution, or I got questions about Oregon, or who are you using for your bottle caps, and we share information. It's a small community.
You've been bottling for how long?
Since 2002.
2002, okay.
And then, yeah, that was going well, and so when my lease came up for renewal, I had a 10-year lease renewal option. I was like, ooh, I don't really want to lose money for 10 more years, so I decided to just shut.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Shut the brew pub and focus on bottling, which is why I got into the business in the first place, to make beer. And when you get into running a brew pub, you find out that you spend a lot of your time managing people and dealing with vendors and issues, paying bills to all the different people and fixing things. And took away
people
from
are no fun at all.
Well, people are great. That kept me going for 6 years, but it's all the behind-the-scenes stuff is kind of...
Yeah. We're doing your chocolate stout tonight,
Yes.
which I personally like a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
What else do you have a few other offerings. What's going to be in the San Diego/LA area that we're in right now?
Well, we have the chocolate stout and IPA in both 6-pack and 22-ounce bottles. That's in 15 states. And then we have a seasonal program where we have beers in 4-packs.
Okay.
Right now, the seasonal is an Imperial Brown Ale.
Oh, very good beer.
And coming up in at May 1st will be a Honey Basil Ale. It's quite tasty.
Yes, I do like your honey basil ale.
Yeah.
I've had that. I've had the pleasure of having, I think, most of your beers. I don't think I've had the IPA, though.
All right.
That's the only one I don't think I've had. But the gingerbread ale was the very first one I had, and that's a phenomenal beer as well. But I do like your chocolate stout a lot.
Well, this will be my first Bison Brew.
Wow.
And your beers are chock full of like unhealthy preservatives and additives and all sorts of that kind of stuff.
All
right?
the beers
What's up with that?
are organic.
Organic. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you yourself are very much about slow food and sustainability, and I know because you're on Twitter as Bison Brew, at Bison Brew, and a lot of your tweets, especially at the beginning of the year, were, what can you do to be sustainable to the environment and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, just like people have lots of choices they can make every day. And buying organic beer is one choice if you want to support organic agriculture and not support the GMOs and petroleum industries. But you can also do a lot of other sustainable things like get low water shower heads, or put your money in a community bank, or join a CSA to get your vegetables fresh every week from a farmer. And so I was pointing out on Twitter and Facebook that there are these very simple things that you can make a choice to have a more sustainable life and lower your carbon footprint.
That's awesome.
Yeah. In fact, if you look at my beer labels on the necks, each one says, hey, visit my website and I'll buy you a carbon offset for a case of beer.
Cool.
So hopefully people can start to learn a little bit about what is my carbon footprint.
Drink neutral.
Yes, my Drink Neutral program.
Nice.
And what exactly is a carbon offset?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that.
Well,
And how would you buy me a carbon offset? I'm intrigued, sir.
yeah, it's
Do tell.
essentially what I'm trying to do is I did a study to find out what is the carbon impact of making and distributing my organic beer. And we figured out it's like 2.4 pounds of carbon per 6-pack. So what I will do is if you go to the website, you click through a couple links, and I'll buy you a carbon offset for the unavoidable carbon that your beer drinking has released into the atmosphere. So what I've done is teamed up with another organization that vets these programs. So I have 3 main programs that I support. One is wind energy in North Dakota, and another is insulating homes in South Africa.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing now.
And so these are projects that wouldn't be done otherwise. And you know, there's a process.
The people in North Dakota are very full of hot air, so I mean that's a good.
It blows.
Yeah, I thought
that area of the country blows.
It blows.
I thought at
Sorry,
first,
North Dakota viewers.
I thought at first the whole buying the offset thing had to do with, you know how big companies can buy credits from companies that don't really put out that much carbon, and then therefore they're neutral because they're not putting out that much carbon, and you know.
Yeah, well, the first
But
thing you need to
you're
do,
actually putting it into something that's
I was dumb. I
worthwhile.
thought I was actually going to get some carbon in the mail or something.
you know, the lump of coal you get at Christmas is nothing to do with me.
I'm a bad boy.
The first thing everybody needs to do, including companies like Bison, but individuals, is reduce the amount of carbon footprint that you have. And after that, you know, I'm not asking people to, you know, have a wool blanket on all the time and walk around. We have a nice life in America, and we have a certain standard of living we're trying to live up to, but there's things we can do still that reduce that amount of carbon that we put out and our impact on the environment. They're very simple
Well, and I
things.
think that the craft brew community as a whole is into the concept of artisanal products and, you know, low impact products and that kind of thing. And so it makes sense that would be another element that you would get into, is the sustainability of the environment and that kind of stuff, because of the fact that, you know, big business is what's causing the craft brewer is such a problem, and it's also causing a lot of the problems in our environment as well. So I applaud your efforts. I won't actually clap.
Just awareness.
Well, I will. Yeah. Golf clap. That's enough talk about the environment, because you know what? I'm about to pop my carbon footprint right here. Yes. So, and that's the little this little carbon coming off right there.
Yeah,
So.
that's what that is, CO2.
Oh, hey, there went that bottle. Oh, thanks. So, you may be the special guest, Dan, but you got to pour your own beer here.
That's all right.
It is something I can do.
We're drinking these out of Princeton shaker glasses, even though we're not sponsored by the Princeton University yet. Ooh, I really like the way this smells, though. It's got a nice aroma to it.
Yeah, the chocolate stouts, it's the beer I sell the most of. It's about 60% of what I sell. And it's dry foreign style stout, and we throw some cocoa powder into the mash. And so we get some of the bitterness and aroma and flavors of cocoa, not the, there's no sweetness involved, because cocoa is chocolate without sugar and milk fat.
Right.
Yeah.
For a stout, it's very drinkable, really smooth and kind of refreshing too. You know what I mean?
Well, my overall philosophy on brewing is to brew the beers and have them finish out and just be dry, because that makes you want to have another drink.
Well, it's a very low alcohol too.
That's
It's like
we've heard that
5.0.
quite a few times, like finishing dry, because then you want some more and you want some more and you want some more.
Yeah, I try to sell beer by the 6-pack.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if you buy a couple of 6-packs every
yeah.
night. Although we don't encourage over drinking, but with a 5.0 alcohol content, this is a very sessionable beer.
Wow.
So, and it doesn't give me a lot of the warming qualities that you'd get from a typical stout either. So I could see drinking this year round. Like I wouldn't have a problem drinking this in the middle of summer.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I could almost see it as a Christmassy beer too, like a holiday kind of, that time of year where it's cold and, you know.
You got a fireplace, perhaps?
Yeah. It's kind of gives me that vibe. Maybe it is the fire that's doing that, because I feel nice and cozy right now.
He's like, I'm waiting for Santa to come and give me a gift.
Yeah.
So you can definitely get a lot of the chocolate off of it right away. I mean, that's what's gonna hit you. And it doesn't give the coffee overtones that you would normally get, I don't think, from a lot of the really strong IRSs.
Yeah. It's really good. Like I said, it's really smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth. When you roast cocoa beans or brewer's barley or coffee, you get the same flavor components called melanoidins. And so that's why chocolate and these roasted grains and coffee all go together. I've chose to stay away from the coffee elements in this, but you're right to pick up on those.
Each week we have Dr. Bill giving us pairings, and this week we are going to be doing a Gueuze as well as a Saison DuPont.
Yes.
With some mussels, and it was an amazing day. Oh my
Right.
God. Wow.
You'll also learn a couple techniques for actually
Eating the mussels.
extracting the
Yeah.
mussels from the
Yes.
shell.
So let's cut over to Dr. Bill and this week's Master Pairings with Dr. Bill. So welcome to this week's Master Pairings with Dr. Bill. Dr. Bill, what do we got today?
Well, today we have a couple of things. We have cheeses and some mussels, and then we have a lambic and a saison. So the cheese I selected today was Morbier. It's a French cow semi-soft cheese. It's got a layer of vegetal ash in between that is usually made out of grape leaves. And what they do is they take the morning milk and then the evening milk, and they create a cheese out of it. So it's two different layers.
So that's not actually a line of like mold or...
No, that's not mold. That's ash, and it's neutral in flavor. So you wouldn't. It's not like you would take a bite and it'd ruin the cheese because it'd be smoky or anything like that. And then what I did, I prepared some black mussels. I used a little St. Louis Goose Fond Tradition, parsley, shallots, lemon, and a little garlic. And so we'll try those. And I thought we'd try them with both of these. Traditionally, I like to cook a lot of mussels with gooses or lambics. And then I like to either drink them with saisons or also lambics. So the two beers I chose today was DuPont Saison. This is a classic farmhouse ale. It's 6%. It's really nice. It's actually, it might be more than 6%. Let me just double check that real quick. 6.5%. Alcohol, and it's going to go really nice with the floral and spicy notes from that. And I also picked Hansen's Oude Gueuze, which is a blend of 1- and 3-year-old lambics. It is 6% alcohol, and it's very sharp, lemony, kind of get this iced tea quality acidic flavor. Excellent. So they should go really nice. So if you want to open that and pour it in our stemware, I will pour these in, well, I have a traditional Hansen's glass. You have a Rodenbach glass. But
oh, well, you know.
that's okay.
You are the man for this episode. So while we're doing that, the mussels, it was a very easy thing to make because you tossed in the shallots and the lemon and the parsley, cooked it over some butter, poured in the goose, and then tossed in the mussels and let it all kind of...
Yeah, it just needs a couple moments to steam, and it works really well. Really, all you're doing is putting in a little butter and the shallots and garlics and letting them go for just a moment or two. Don't really want to brown them.
Right.
And then once you do that, once they've starting to pick up some flavor, then you go ahead and just add in the goose, a little parsley, and some lemon.
And we picked out all this up at our local supermarket. With the mussels, though, if they don't open, don't eat them.
Correct. When you're checking mussels, you want to clean them. If they're wild mussels, you want to wash them 3 or 4 times. You want to check and make sure that they are closed. If they're not closed, you want to squeeze them. If they stay closed once you squeeze them, that means they're still alive and they're good to go. If they're cracked where you can see the actual mussel inside the shell, or they don't close, throw them out. Okay. And then a lot of times they'll have a little beard back by the hinge, and you just want to get a pair of literally wire clippers and just clean them out. So what I thought we'd try first is I thought we'd try the cheese with the saison.
Okay. I'm going to drink a little of this first, though, just to...
Sure. Once again, whenever you're tasting anything, as far as beers, wines, spirits, you always want to take 3 sips. The first sip, you want to vigorously swish around in your mouth and cleanse your palate from the dentine gum you just had, the cigarette you smoked, the previous beer, anything like that. After that, you want to take a second sip and do exactly what Steve just did, which was pull air in over the palate, and that opens up the palate. And then the third sip will give you the true flavor of the beer. When you taste something, you kind of want to let it coat your mouth, be in your mouth before you take the beer over it, so you can get the accompaniment of the beer. This is a mild, creamy cheese.
So good.
Has a little hay. just really nice. A little crystallization in it, which I'm kind of surprised, but that's probably more from the actual outer layer. But it tastes really wonderful, and I think it's going to go well with this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the cheese still shows up, but this beer in particular, it brings out floral and hop notes with it, and it makes it just really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that the beer, when you drink the beer, you don't get a super strong flavor on it, but when you eat the cheese, the flavor is strong enough to stay with you, and you don't lose it in the flavor of the cheese, and they do complement each other real well.
So now I'm going to have us try a couple of the mussels with this beer.
All right.
And you can use your fork to pull off the mussels. They pull off fairly easily. What I do, traditionally what they do when you're in Belgium, is you'll go ahead and grasp, use a pair like a maracas, grasp the mussel, and even like that.
With your fingers. Ooh.
And then once you have an empty...
Come to me.
Once you have an empty one, you just go ahead and use that for your utensil.
Mm. Wow, that's good. Oh, yeah, I really like the garlic flavors that you're getting off the mussel.
Right.
Really just.
But they're not overwhelming. They play really well with the spice of the saison, but also you get a little of the acidity from the Fond Tradition, the St. Louis Gueuze, which shows really nicely in the shallots, and it just plays really nice with the unctuousness of the mussels.
Yeah, no, it works really well.
Okay, now, and the bread is actually not to spread the cheese on, though you could, but I like to dip it in here.
Oh, yeah.
Have it. And it's just, perfect.
Because the Gueuze kind of sauce you end up with is phenomenal. And actually, I've done this with Arrogant Bastard as well, the Stone's Arrogant Bastard, and that is also an amazing mix for these mussels.
Yeah, you can do a lot. Classically, it's white wine, so a lot of people use wits, Belgian wits, wheat beers, or they use Gueuzes, like I said. So I think we should try the Gueuze with the cheese now and the Gueuze with the mussels.
All right.
It has a really nice lemony nose, almost like an iced tea aroma.
Yeah.
Your first sip is going to be, wow, tart. But once again,
it's
once
like,
you...
woo, pucker.
By the time you get that third sip, it is just so satisfying. Think the best lemon iced tea you've ever had in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so good.
It's like a little Arnold Palmer with a kick.
Yeah, it's so thirst quenching. It's just delicious.
Oh, yeah. This would definitely be a good hot afternoon kind of relaxing with your friends kind of beer.
You know, people.
Of course, you know it's an expensive.
People, say mass marketed beer is good, lawnmower beer, things like that, because it's hot. This is my lawnmower beer.
Right.
This is what I'm drinking while I'm mowing my lawn. Ooh. Now, with this beer, the cheese still takes a back seat, but what it does is just brings the lemon out and makes the lemon burst in your mouth. So it really accompanies the creaminess of the cheese.
And it tones the sour down just a little bit.
The sourness, but you still get that lemon
You get the
flavor.
you get all the flavor of the lemon.
You get the acidic level brought down from the cheese, and it plays perfectly into that.
Oh, yeah.
And I always like washed rind cheeses. They can just go great with lambics and saisons, but I think they play really well.
That's excellent, yeah.
I can sit here and drink this all day. Now, we've already got a Gueuze in there, so it should be interesting to see how the interplay is. Once again, it doesn't take the back seat. You get the brininess of the sea, but you get the acidic level drop down, and you get this lemon tart flavor that's just amazing.
Yeah, that just and this is a very this is an amazing pre-dinner sort of if you're going to be having some appetizers and whatever, a plate of this with some cheeses and breads and even the saison or the Gueuze out for your guests to try. That's awesome. That's an excellent start to an amazing meal.
Yeah, it's definitely it awakens your palate.
Oh yeah. So this has been another master pairing with Dr. Bill, and believe me, it was masterful. Thank you very much,
Sure.
and cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
With this particular beer, it's kind of an obvious to go with chocolate because it's in the name, chocolate stout. So obviously, pairing this with a dark chocolate, I think because of the low, because it's not so huge with the flavor profile, that if you get too strong a chocolate, I think it's going to kind of overpower a little bit. But you know, if a nice dark chocolate would go really well with this. So we decided not to go with the obvious, and we went with a selection of completely organic foods to pair with this.
Yep.
In honor of your organicness.
Organic brew.
Now the bread's organic, although the bread is just there for palate washing.
Yes.
Cleaning it.
So,
And
but
for looks.
these are medjool dates, which I've never actually had. And the only actual experience I have with dates is Indiana Jones, when the monkey eats the dates and dies.
So I always think about
And
that
it's all,
too.
it's like, bad dates.
Bad day.
These are good dates though. So I'm gonna try one actually, because I'm very intrigued by these dates.
Poison monkey dates.
Poisoned monkey dates. That would be an awesome band name. We should totally make that a band name.
I tried it with the nuts. These are
John ate nuts.
what
These
kind
are
of
just
nuts are these?
almonds, unsalted almonds.
Okay, that's what I
And,
thought, but like, nah.
Dates, and then a little bit of gorgonzola cheese.
Oh, I like that with the date.
The nuts go really well, man.
Yeah, now there's a pit inside, so don't.
Right.
Don't eat them whole. Yeah, you don't want to eat any like roasted or salted almonds with a beer because that's totally going to alter the flavor profile of the beer overall.
I like
So if you're doing a nut, you want to do something unsalted, something that's not been like.
Dude.
Unless you want it caramelized, don't get the caramelized either.
You gotta try it with the nuts. I'm just saying.
I will try your nuts in
Are
just
they
a moment.
just nuts?
They're just almonds, but they're great with the beer.
These,
you get just a little bit of sweetness from these.
yeah, these
these
dates are
dates.
amazing.
Like good fiber.
And I learned when I went to the grocery store that I'm apparently the only person in the world that doesn't know what they are.
Oh really?
Yeah, and like I went on like, you ever heard of medjool dates? Yeah. Where would you find them? Over there. Okay.
Have
Go
you
ahead.
ever heard of them?
Yeah, like I don't know what they are. What I like about this particular pairing is that all of this is very gourmet. You know, it's got a very gourmet feel to it.
But it's simple.
But it's very simple. Yeah, I mean, it's like you basically everything
to set
came in a
up.
tub. You threw it all on a plate. You set it out. You get some guests in. You're drinking this, and this would be the perfect after dinner conversation kind of thing. You know, you get some chocolate stout going for dessert, and
Sit down, put this on the coffee table, and turn on the fire.
Yeah, since you said that, this is almost like a good gateway stout. Mm-hmm. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I would agree.
It's like the whole. I still keep coming back to the smoothness. It's very light. It's drinkable.
And I think
it doesn't
that-
feel like a meal in a
No,
Right.
not at all.
And I think even if you had a group of people over where you were drinking wine with dinner, and maybe they are heavy wine drinkers or whatever, that after dinner, if you set up a little spread like this where it's not a lot of food and you give them some chocolate stout, yeah, exactly. It's a great crossover.
Yeah. This little bit of figs, fig jam we have would go good with maybe some.
Water crackers, which are on the counter over in the kitchen.
You can go with crackers, or you might even be able to stick it with a little bit of like a cream cheese.
I bet it'd go good with this bread, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna this bread's like, I have already experienced it, and it was amazing.
Can I just dip my finger in it? No.
If this was at your home and you were by yourself, yes, you could.
If only what?
Yeah, if we only had like a
yes.
blonde chick with a camera that could run into the kitchen and grab some crackers for us, that would be amazing.
and like film her doing that the whole way.
Yeah, that'd be
with
kind of
Her
cool.
camera. That would be.
Who apparently is just not catching the hint. Wow, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm taking this fig stuff home with me.
You brought it.
It's like a fig Newton without the Newton.
Oh, good point. That's what that is.
Is it? Now I want to try it.
Oh yeah,
good,
I
yeah.
love the fig.
Ooh.
I love the fig.
I love the fig. And it goes well. A little bit of
Wow, that was
Flying
close.
crackers.
almost broke open.
That would have been awesome,
That would have been disastrous.
says the man who has to vacuum up after
We
we
almost
leave.
committed an atrocity. the cheese is interesting with it. I think it's a good pairing, but it's definitely. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
one of
wouldn't
the
say
reasons
it's
I wanted to
necessarily
do the
complementary.
gorgonzola is just to You don't think it's I think it's actually quite interesting. It's,
That's what I would say. I would say it's not like it's not quite a. What would you say? You wouldn't necessarily think about doing it, but it does go really well.
Yeah, and the stout kind of rinses your mouth and gets you ready for the next taste of gorgonzola, and then the gorgonzola enlivens your mouth, and then you drink the the stout, and then you can taste all the roasted flavors in the stout.
We're using a mild gorgonzola that's not as heavily aged. It's not going to be as pungent. It's not going to be as hot on the mouth. And so you do get a lot of the playful feeling between the two. Instead of one trying to overpower the other, it's almost like they're kind of bouncing it back and forth in your mouth. Yeah. You know, and I like that a lot. You get a nice little salty tang to it, but the sweetness of the beer stays strong.
Yeah, I did. Good.
Yeah, I mean, even in my sick, lowered taste bud state, I can still.
The cheese will cut through anything, any sickness. It's pretty. It's strong enough to do that, but not strong enough to overpower the beer. What's your favorite out of the pairings, Steve?
You know what? I haven't had the nuts yet, so I can't answer yet.
Oh, dude. Win.
We can go back to the
total
nuts.
win.
I like that. You know, it almost gives it a woodiness to it, like almost not that it's been not that it was aged in wood barrels or anything, but it gives you just that slight little dryness that you get from a wood aged beer with the nuts.
It's funny that you say that because I didn't feel that before, but now that you say that, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think with the nuts is my favorite.
Actually, sometimes with the nuts get a little. It actually highlights that. There's not very much hops in the chocolate stout. You only use hops for bitterness, but sometimes when I have the nuts, I get these hints of the hop peeking through.
Yeah. One of the things that we try to do on the show is get our viewers to advocate for craft beer as well. And so starting next week, actually, we're going to be having a new segment along with the Master Pairings with Dr. Bill, where you get to tell us your story of how you advocate for craft beer.
Nice.
And so, and each week, whatever submissions we get, we'll look at them and we'll pick the one that we like the best and read it on the show. And the winner will get a signed copy of the Beer Wars movie from Annette Barron.
Nice.
So if you'd like to join into the contest, and if you send one in and you're not picked that week, don't worry. It's like you'll always be in the running, because sometimes I've already gotten quite a few that I'm like, every one of these is a winner, yay! But we're gonna pick one each week, so don't fret if you don't get picked right away. I can't believe I just said don't fret. That's awesome.
Don't fret.
I feel like a 40-year-old man.
ASAP.
ASAP. But if you want to send us your story, tell it. It doesn't have to be like, I introduced 15 people to craft beer and none of them will ever drink Coors Light again. Even if it's just your own story of how you discovered craft beer, we want to hear it. Send it in. It's advocate@newbrewthursday.com. Send us an email. If you
can throw pictures in there if you want.
Oh, definitely. Any pictures or whatever we'll
audio.
add. If you want to do a video as well, like post it up to YouTube, we'll include the video. You can be a part of the show.
Just put it on YouTube, send us the link, and we'll check it out and actually use it in the show.
I really like trying to get your idea of advocating for people. I just found that out just now, because really all the craft beer drinkers out there are the ones that are just supporting their local breweries and supporting the innovations. Because without all these people out there, we can't innovate and make barrel-aged beers and all these crazy things that we're doing because we can't sell it.
Exactly.
So we're really, really appreciative of the guys like you that bring some of those ideas forward and
that kind of
encourage people a little out of their comfort zone, try something new.
Right. Well, that reminds me, just Tuesday night, the brewery had to go to their city planning council meeting to open up their new tasting room, and Patrick was a little concerned that maybe there would be people there that would try to work against it, and so he kind of put a call out to the social media side of things to say, hey, come out and support us, and that entire council room was full of craft beer geeks.
Wow.
And it was so inspiring to walk in there and see a room full of people who didn't even live in Placentia, who gave up their Tuesday night to go out and support their favorite brewery and and be there in case it was necessary for them to hear positive viewpoints. It was great because when they did approve it unanimously, it was like everybody broke out into applause. And even the commissioners were like, oh, wow. Okay, now we know why all of you people are here. And then, of course, the whole room emptied as soon as they were done with that part of it. And so it was great. And
Commissioners went, oh.
Yeah.
We thought we were rock stars.
Yeah, but it's so great to see people like
the parking
coming
enforcement
out.
initiative.
Oh, believe me, there was so much parking talked about.
It's funny you said that.
Exactly. But as always, this was an excellent episode. Dan, thank you so much for coming down here and bringing the beer. And
No, my pleasure.
Sitting on that 5 freeway.
Sitting on the 5 freeway in traffic.
Traffic down here
sucks.
is terrible.
Yeah.
So, as always,
That's okay, I get to rock out.
Cool.
you just see him out the window like,
I'm entertaining
don't lie,
myself.
you were watching episodes of Newber Thursday on your little...
On my phone.
On your phone. So, but as always, stay safe and drink beer. Cheers.